If you or someone you know is suffering with a low thyroid, let's go through some of the tips to improve that low thyroid and of course doing it naturally. And this is whether you've been diagnosed with low thyroid, hypothyroidism or not. Maybe your blood work even looks fantastic according to your doctor. However, you've still got a lot of these symptoms of that hypothyroid. So whether it is that energy loss, fatigue, even memory impairment and depression, low mood, that can be related to that low thyroid. A swollen face, there could be swelling of the eye socket and a rough or deep hoarsening of your voice as it's related to that low thyroid. Weight gain, this is usually why probably you went to the doctor in the first place, because you're like, where's this weight coming from? Because of that low thyroid and that sluggish metabolism. Constipation, so slow bowels as it's related to that slower functioning of your thyroid gland. Rough, dry skin, you could also have hair loss and the quality of your hair has changed, especially loss of the outer third of the eyebrow hair is related to hypothyroidism as well. There could be enlargement of the thyroid gland, however, not always. And you could have a slower heart rate and weakness of the heart. Now, where does this all start? What is the impetus of your thyroid being low in the first place? Well, what's really common is the fact that you may have something called leptin resistance. So leptin resistance is something that is very common, and maybe you just have a leptin resistance issue and actually not a low thyroid. So what is this leptin resistance? Well, leptin is a hormone that is secreted by your fat cells, and it gives signals to the brain as to your state of affairs. Do you have enough body fat? Do you have enough energy? And what happens, unfortunately, is that the brain stops reading that proper signaling because of the inflammation in the system, high cortisol levels in the system as well, high insulin levels. And what happens is that, unfortunately, because the brain isn't getting that proper signaling, now you've got that resistance and you start to eat more and more food and you're craving food all the time. Now that's going to raise the fat that you've got in your body. And then what happens? You're going to have more inflammation, more leptin resistance, and the cycle goes around and around. So my tips now for fixing the thyroid is very much related to this, because when you've got that leptin resistance, your thyroid will start working against you instead of for you, and you could develop all of those symptoms that we talked about of that low thyroid. So my tips here are, number one, fix your leptin resistance. This is so important that you get this under control, and I have different videos on how to do that. Now, my second tip here is to support that thyroid gland. Now, there are certain nutrients that, of course, the thyroid needs to function optimally, and one ingredient from nature, of course, that helps to support all of those important minerals is kelp, and kelp does contain iodine, which is fantastic, of course, to make the thyroid hormone, as well as magnesium, potassium, so our big electrolytes here, calcium, and even boron are found in kelp, and these all help to support that thyroid gland. Okay, another herbal medicine that I love to support that thyroid is called forskohlii. Now, forskohlii increases your T4 and your T3 production, so your active thyroid hormone, and helps with your iodine metabolism. Another ingredient, tyrosine. So this is an important amino acid that helps you to make your T4, and that iodine connection needs, of course, that tyrosine. And ashwagandha. So ashwagandha helps to balance the thyroid hormones. It balances the adrenal glands, great for stress, great for cortisol imbalances, and helps with insulin balance as well. And that's another reason why ashwagandha is so fantastic for that low thyroid state. Now, for tips on how to reverse leptin resistance, please check out my video, 9 Tips to Reverse Leptin Resistance. I'll see you there.